the same spot, but that missed according to our ump, and it's 2-1.
Let's take a look around the rest of the Cape right now. Wareham down 3-0 at Chatham in the top of the fourth.
Called strike 2. That was right down the middle. We're even at 2-2. Go ahead, Chris.
Meanwhile, Brewster at Cotuit, those two are even in the top of the third at 0.
We're in the bottom of the sixth. 2 outs, 2-2 count to the number 2 hitter. Pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning. 1 swinging, 1 looking, and Sandlin is as advertised.
And just before we take you to the break here, Orleans
Sure.
and Falmouth midway through a doubleheader. Falmouth won the first leg 5-2, and they start up their next. They started already at 6, but no movement on the Game Center board on the Cape Cod League website. And Brewster and Cotuit also in the second part of doubleheader right now. I should have mentioned that earlier. Cotuit took the first leg 4-3.
4, 5, and 6 due up for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 7th. We're still scoreless here on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
I wish my cousin had gotten back to me about this guy. My cousin's the bullpen catcher.
Oh, that's right. You told me.
Like, I would have everything.
Your attention, please. Defensive changes for the Mariners. Now on the mound from Boston College, number 24, John Witkowski. Remaining in the game in playing right field, number 6, Andrew Moritz.
Welcome back on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. The new pitcher is John Witkowski to start the 7th inning for Lucy. Has more on him.
220-pound sophomore, local boy out of Melrose, Massachusetts. Appeared 19 times for Boston College this season, ACC competition. 32 2/3 innings pitched to the tune of a 6.06 ERA and 15 strikeouts, 19 walks. Has to work on his command a little bit, but a lot of promise coming in with a big frame like that.
That's right. And he'll face Donovan Robinson and Proctor in the 7th inning. As Brendan Donovan will dig in, he fouls one right back off the backstop behind home plate. Donovan was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat on the foot. Had a free pass. And it's 0-1 on him now. This is it. 7th inning. Good chance. Good time to score a run if you're the Harbor Hawks to get that run production up. They've really struggled. And last inning they had a great chance. They had 2 on, 1 out. And an unfortunate break is a swing and a miss again in the count 1-2. But the ball was lined straight at Monyo, and he just made a great catch and then had an easy walk to third base to get Hampton get him for the double play. As this one is lined into shallow right field, and it's going to fall for a base hit. A leadoff single for Donovan, finally. And the Harbor Hawks have some life here in the 7th.
And they need it. Coming down to again, really coming at the buzzer here if they want to try and run across the plate and end this thing.
Brings up Daniel Robinson, who's 0 for 1, grounded into a double play, and he was hit by a pitch. Comes to the plate with 1 on and nobody out. And the last time that hasn't happened at all in this game, actually, for the Harbor Hawks. He's talking some strategy right there with Coach Gasman. We'll see maybe if he tries to bunt or something. And he does square around a bunt. And it takes inside 1-0. Now this is the great time to try to move a runner over or try to get a bunt single. And in practice, Robinson was laying down great bunts on Tuesday, the last practice before the season. The 1-0 is a bunt down the third baseline. The throw on the second, one on the first, not in time. So it doesn't work. The lead runner, Donovan, is thrown out by the third baseman, Magno, and Robinson bunts into the fielder's choice and is aboard with one out to bring up forward Proctor. And if there was ever a time for Proctor to get a hit, his first hit, it would be now.
It really would be.
So 1 on, 1 out. Robinson replaces Donovan at first. And the first pitch is just low for a ball 1-0, to Proctor. Proctor is 0 for 2. Flew out to center field both times he's been at the plate in the second inning and then again in the fifth. He's hit the ball very, very hard, just hasn't found a hole. This one fouled off straight back to the backstop, and it's 1-1. No runs yet in this game. Hyannis trying to push the first one across here in the top half of the seventh. It's a 7-inning game, probably more than that based on how this is going. I'm not trying to speculate too much, but we are scoreless, and there hasn't been much offense even brewing for either team.
No, and Harwich no strangers to extra inning play so far this season.
1-1 is the count, and the pitch going on the pitch was Robinson, and he is in there with a stolen base. So that's a key stolen base for Robinson as he puts himself in scoring position. Now a 2-1 count. Only one away on Proctor, and now he could really do some damage with his first hit if it should come.
And even if he doesn't get that first hit, if he drives it deep into the ballpark, as we know he can, Robinson can tag up, and he's pretty fast.
Pitch is high, ball 3 on Proctor. A walk would work too. Proctor wants a hit, though.
Oh, yeah, but a walk would bring up Ryan Olenek, who has some deep field power himself.
The 3-1 is high, ball 4, and Proctor works a 1-out walk. And there are 2 on once again for the second straight inning and 1 out for the Harbor Hawks. And it does bring up, as you mentioned, Chris, Ryan Olenek, the right fielder.
Number 15,
tall, skinny
the right fielder from Ole Miss.
batter from Ole Miss,
Ryan
as you hear over the loudspeaker. And this is a big spot right here for the Harbor Hawks. This could certainly make them feel good about things if they could drive in a run here. How about a home run? I haven't seen one of those yet.
Well, Olenek hit 3 in his collegiate season down at Ole Miss and slapped 17 doubles. Is the main thing you could look for.
Pitch number 1 is hit into right field, and it is going to fall for a base hit. And staying is everybody. They only advance 1 base. It's a base hit for Olenek. I thought for sure I would see Robinson coming around to score, but instead we have bases loaded and only 1 out. There was some indecision as to whether or not Monitz made the play, but it is still bases loaded, 1 out.
Well, yeah, it was a smart decision for Gassman to Robinson down to third base line. Moritz, he dove and he caught it on 1 hop, got to his feet really quickly and fired an absolute bullet into the infield because he already had his momentum carrying him forward. He got right up, and Robinson honestly might have been a cheap out if he'd made the turn to third.
Now that you say it, it was a quick play. Here we go. We have a new batter. Of course, it's number 30, Robert Newstrom. He was in game 1. He takes over for Brant Stallings. I like this move. Newstrom's been hitting the ball to start the season, and he has a big chance here. Bases loaded for the Harbor Hawks, and only 1 out. There is a play at any base for Harwich, but we don't want to think about that.
No. Newstrom also with the opportunity to redeem a swinging and looking strikeout that made him go 0 for 2 in the first leg of this doubleheader.
And Chris, is I just noticed the lights are on, but the fog is certainly thickened in the outfield, and it's getting harder and harder to see the outfielders.
It really is. It's just especially over around the left center field gap, almost impossible to see anything out there. And you'd have to imagine fielding a baseball traveling when you're trying to run full speed towards it would be no small order.
Well, the outfielders, as we have another visit to the mound, and we're going to get a pitching change. The outfielders see exactly what we see, except they probably can't see us that well just because of the fog. And we will have a pitching change, and we'll take a quick break on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We'll get back with the pitching change in just a moment. We're back on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Walker and Chris Lucy. We have a pitching change. It's the UNC product. Chris Lucy has
6'2", 205 out of Kernersville, North Carolina. Stayed at home, UNC. Pretty close there. And when we look at his numbers, not a bad season. 2.12 ERA and 17 innings pitched. Made 13 appearances, 3 starts.
Well, he's got a chance to earn his lunch here or dinner. Getting that to that time. Bases loaded and this is just about as tough of a position you could be in as a pitcher, especially when coming in. Not cold, you warmed up, but coming into a game, it's like, oh, thanks for giving me 3 base runners. But the way this game is going, the Harwich team has gotten out of a lot of jams, and here comes Robert Newstrom, number 30, the lefty, to try to break through, not just for himself, he's been hitting, but for the whole team. And again, no runs today in either game for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. We'll see if they could change that now. This is their best chance, no doubt. First pitch is grounded towards third. They're going to go home for 1. They're going to go on to first, and that's not in time. And a runner is coming home, and Proctor slides in. He is out. It's a double play, not a conventional one, but if you can imagine a bases loaded 1-out situation ending this way, well, you probably couldn't imagine it. Proctor gets thrown out trying to score. He came all the way from second, and the initial throw was to home to Nail Robinson, and just like that, the inning is over. Unbelievable way to end the inning, and Snake Bitten is putting it lightly for these Harbor Hawks. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Harwich has a chance to walk it off on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We're back on the Harbor Hawks digital network. Nick Sandlin remains in the game, the pitch. The new first baseman for the Harbor Hawks is Cole Murphy. It's 3, 4, and 5 for Harwich, and the leadoff man in this inning will be Brad Debo, the DH. He is 0 for 2, grounded it into a double play, last in the 4th inning. And Chris Lucy's going to give you the rules of extra innings for a doubleheader. Right after this, ground ball towards short. Frank throws on the first in time, and there is quickly one away. Good start for Sandlin. Now, here are the extra inning rules from Chris Lucy.
All right, so doubleheader right here. We're scheduled 2 7-inning games, but if this one ends after this still in a 0-0 tie, then we go to the 8th, and if the 8th ends tied, we go to the 9th, but no further than 9 innings in a doubleheader. It'll end in a tie, and a point will be awarded to each team.
That's right. We were talking about the point system in our last home game and how it's kind of like hockey. It's exactly like hockey with 2 points for a win and 1 for a tie or overtime loss in hockey, but same deal. First pitch is a called strike to Joey Bart, the catcher.
Ripper of a fastball.
Again, that sidewinding motion can still get up there in this speed. It's excellent. The 0-1 is called strike 2, just like that. It's 0-2 on Bart, the cleanup hitter. If you're the Harbor Hawks, you're hoping this goes to extras. They've gone another 7 innings with no runs. The 0-2 is a breaking ball, and that broke so much it got by Proctor all the way to the backstop. It's 1-2.
I spoke to Proctor earlier today about the fact that he essentially has another batter's tie out front in center field with that fog. And he said that it didn't really get to him, but it's gotten a lot thicker.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and there are 2 away as Bart goes down on strikes. That's just another great pitch from Sandlin. And that's his 4th strikeout in just over 2 innings of work.
The left fielder from
Excellent stuff.
Dwanye Williams.
And here comes Dwanye Williams Sutton, the number 5 hitter and the left fielder, who's made a couple of great plays out there in left today. He's 0 for 2. Swing and a miss. 0-1 to start the at-bat, the 3rd of the game for Sutton. We're in the bottom of the 7th. No score, Harbor Hawks and Mariners. Sandlin's 0-1 is a breaking ball called strike 2. Sutton thought about swinging. It was just a good breaking pitch, and quickly 0-2 again is the count. Getting ahead of hitters is key, and Sandlin certainly has done that in his 2+ innings. The 0-2 is a high fastball, and it's 1-2. It got way up there. Good catch by Proctor. Good reaction. That was up at the head of Sutton. So it'll be a 1-2. The 1-2 is hit through the gap between 3rd and short. It's a base hit with 2 outs for Sutton. He takes a turn and goes back to first. Good 2-out rip into left field. That brings up Max Burt with 2 outs.
Number 36 stop from North.
2 strikeouts on the day for Burt. 1 looking, 1 swinging, so he'll try to end that with a man on and 2 away against the righty Sandlin. First pitch of the at-bat is called strike 1 on the outside corner, and Burt didn't love that call. Seems like that outside corner has been getting a lot of strike calls today, though.
Sidewinding motion fooling the umpires a little bit, too.
Throw over. Good throw over to first. And we saw the starting pitcher, Dylan Grove, throw over to first a couple times for Harwich, and he kind of just lobbed it just to say, here, I'm here. Good throw over, good hard throw from Sandlin as the 0-1 misses outside that time, and the count is 1-1 to the 6th hitter. He's working with a man aboard and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. of a scoreless tie. The 1-1 is popped up into the infield. Frank calls everybody off, makes the play, and we're headed to extra innings here in Harwich. We'll be right back for the top of the 8th inning here on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Welcome back in, well, not inside the booth, but outside to the broadcast table here in Harwich as we get set for extra innings. It's the top of the 8th inning. Quick moving game as well. 2 very fast games. This has been a pitcher's duel all the way. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 8th. Proctor, Hampton, and Coffee, should there not be any pinch hitters. But I got to tell you, Chris, we were just talking about it, and it's a very good point, I think, to share. In the past 28 innings, the Harbor Hawks only have scored 1 run.
It's just been a matter of patience, I think. Like you said, patience in that we need to wait for this team to score a run, but they're just jumping on pitches that they don't necessarily need to be swinging at and putting the ball in play, and just it's to no avail.
The first pitch to Proctor, the catcher, is upstairs. It's 1-0. Proctor's 0 for 2 today. The 1-0 is in there, like the change. It's 1-1 to the number 9 hitter. And 1 run might be enough, probably will be enough. So it's not like there was a lot asked of the hitters today, as this one's fouled off third base side out of play. But 1 run would have gotten the job done in this game. And still nothing. No runs today in 14 innings for Hyannis.
Maybe give it another 28 innings. We could see one.
Hopefully before then. Or this will be a short season.
Oh, yeah. Or a long one, depending how you look at it.
Swing and a miss. And down goes Proctor on strikes for the first out of the 8th. With that, the lineup turns over once again. Reese Hampton will get his 4th at-bat of the game. He's 1 for 3 at a single back in the 6th. And he'll have a chance with 1 out to do something. Still haven't seen a home run yet from the Harbor Hawks, as this one misses 1-0, the first pitch. That would be nice.
Oh, it sure would be.
1-0 on the way from Colt Aker, and it's grounded softly right back to the mound. Aker fields and fires 2 away.
Have to move quickly, fielding a ground ball against Hampton. He really probably has the most speed on the Harbor Hawks.
I agree with you right there, Chris, but that's just 2 very, very fast outs already. Just like that, there are 2 away in the 8th.
I mean, you talk about an inning getting away from you and that you're on the field for too long. How's about just getting out of an inning with only a few minutes on the hitting side of things?
First pitch to Micah Coffee, the 2-hitter, and the DH is in there for called strike 1. Aker working quickly. He's already got 2 outs. Ground ball right towards second base. Vance to first. 1, 2, 3 go the Harbor Hawks in the 8th. Not much of anything going on for them in this inning, and we'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Still scoreless, and Harwich having a chance to walk it off here on the Harbor Hawks broadcast network.
Sound like you're at work. I swear if any of the single ladies put their hands up right now, someone's going down.
She better not. It says it right over there on the.
Mimi, you having fun still? Yeah, you love this cold.
I feel like I'm swimming. Like my hands are so gross and like.
It's really sticky.
Makes you feel like you're back at school, huh?
It's a little warmer.
So we're getting set for the bottom of the 8th. And in the 8th, the bottom of the 8th, it'll be Monyo, Verdon, and Moritz for Harwich if there's no pinch hitters. And Sandlin is still out there, and why not? He's been absolutely dealing for the Harbor Hawks. But we'll see. Will we have a run scored in this game? And there's a chance that we could play 9 innings and get no runs, and then nobody goes home happy. And the Harbor Hawks still would not have figured out their hitting, and they'll end up with a mistake right now, but they'd like that run, and hopefully not to get one up to 7, 8, or 9 here. Here's the lefty, number 5, also playing third base. And Sandlin is all set. First pitch is a called strike 1. And the bottom of the 8th is underway. Monyo is 0 for 1. He struck out looking and was hit by a pitch. That one is a miss, ball 1. It's 1-1. And yes, it's weird that we're in extras, and this is only the third at bat of the game, but it's because this was a doubleheader, the second half of the doubleheader today. And it's a 7-inning game, so this is considered extras, and that's ball 2.
Chris, even if this one goes 9 and ends in a tie, Hyannis could still walk on with our heads held high over the 1 point. Falmouth winning a game today, getting 2 points.
2-1 on the way. It's hit into left center, coming on and making a diving catch is Robinson. That's just a beautiful play. He had it played perfectly. He was in left center right where the ball was hit, and he came on and made a brilliant catch.
Good positioning and way to hold on, way to keep your eye on the ball in this crazy fog, light, and just overall difficult night visibility-wise.
Yeah, it's been tough for everybody, and still scoreless as Verdon steps up and swings through one there. It's 0-1. That was almost looked like a sinker.
Yeah, and as I was saying, Chris, Falmouth winning a game to take 2 points and tie things up in the Western Division at 2 points with Falmouth and Hyannis at the bottom there, behind Katuitt, Wareham, and Bourne, each with 4 points.
The Bourne games got canceled today. And, you know, the field might have played into it, but foggy, because I'll tell you what, when we went over the Bourne Bridge, you obviously didn't go over there today, but I drove from Danbury today, and it was so foggy. It looked like San Francisco. I'm not even kidding. It was so foggy, and this one's fouled away.
Well, 1 point from a tie in this ball game, Chris, would keep Hyannis standing alone in 4th place rather than together with Falmouth in the cellar of the Western Division.
Right. Points do matter. I want them to score a run, but I know exactly what you mean. It would be a semi-victory. There's a bit of a slap bunt right back to the mound, and Sandlin throws over to first in time. Another 1-3 put out, but just a check swing, and he did get a piece of it. But that just speaks to Sandlin and how he can deceive hitters and throw so hard with that sidearm motion. And Verdon is retired and brings up Andrew Moritz, with 2 away.
Struck out in his last at bat.
And then in the one before that,
Indeed, but
D'Alessandro did. It's not been that's one's hit very, very deep to center field, and making the play right at the wall is Hampton to save a potential triple or a home run if it were to go over the wall. That was an excellent catch. And it's all it is the end of the 8th. That's all it counts as, but that's a very, very loud out number 3, and certainly a big break for the Harbor Hawks as we head to the 9th. Last chance for them to play to run coming up on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Welcome back on the Harbor Hawks digital network. Chris Walker and Chris Lucy getting set for the top of the 9th. We have 3, 4, and 5 coming up for the Harbor Hawks. Their last chance to score or run in this game is if they don't score and Harwich doesn't score, or any combination of a tie at the end of this inning will end the game. The first pitch is a ball low and away, 1-0 to Frank. Frank has a hit in this game. He's 1 for 3 with a single back in the 4th. 1-0 on the way from Aker is high, and it's 2-0. And the Harbor Hawks really had a great chance in the 7th. I mean, they had bases loaded, 1 out, and a double play happened. So many double plays have ended innings in this game. 2-0, and that missed inside. It's 3-0 to the leadoff hitter in the inning, Frank. Donovan and Robinson are due up. The 3-0 is in there for a called strike. Very, very long time to call that from our home plate umpire. But it was right down the middle.
difficult for him to see in this fog, too.
Sure.
It almost, at this point, probably has created another batter's eye in that there's just a wall of white out in left center field.
Definitely. The 3-1 is grounded softly back to the pitcher, Aker. He throws on a first in time, first out of the inning. Another 1-3, a lot of 1-3 putouts in this game. A lot of ground outs for the Harbor Hawks. And with 1 out, that brings up Brandon Donovan again. Donovan singled to lead off the 7th. Was hit by a pitch as well back in the 4th. He is 1 for 2. And the first pitch to the lefty is called strike 1. 2 outs left for the Harbor Hawks to get something going. That one way upstairs, and it goes all the way back to the backstop off the tip of the glove of Bart. And it's 1-1.
Donovan's lone hit of this half of the doubleheader, The thing that started that big 7th inning that unfortunately was not for the Harbor Hawks.
The 1-1 is just inside, and it's 2-1. You know, I wonder, because it's so sticky out, if the pitcher has a better grip or a worse grip on the ball. I don't remember ever pitching in a game that was so humid. I would imagine you might have a better grip. That's a good breaking ball right there. It's foul, tipped into the glove of Bart. It's 2-2. As the lights suddenly get brighter. That one upstairs. It's a full count to the cleanup hitter, but you just saw that the lights just got significantly brighter.
Yeah. Cutting through the fog a little bit better now.
I guess if you get a light powerful enough, the fog doesn't matter. Fouled off, and by that I mean it's still very foggy, but it can cut through if it's that bright. I'm sure if you were standing behind the light, it would just be like having your high beams on. You wouldn't even be able to see the field. Very, very crummy day. Full count here to Donovan with 1 out. Ball 4 just off the outside corner. 1 out walk. For the 3rd time today, Donovan is on base. That's a good sign.
Sure is, and it brings up Daniel Robinson, too, who's been on base a pair of times in this game. No hits, but still.
Daniel Robinson.
That would be a good time for one. He's got pop. See what he can do here against Aker, the UNC righty. 1 out, 1 on for the Harbor Hawks here in the top of the 9th. It is chilly now. It is definitely chilly. The wind has been going, and it's cooling things down. And it's getting foggier, and there was a chance for showers, and we just really don't need showers right now.
No, certainly not
With
back
the
at McKeon
equipment.
Park, where the Hyannis Harbor Hawks field has had enough trouble
Yeah.
with draining in this rain already.
Definitely, and it's 1-0 to Robinson. But first and foremost, the equipment here is certainly at risk.
Oh, yeah. We're just out in the open here down the first base line. Any of our broadcast equipment would just get soaked if rain came.
We'd have to use my rain jacket, at least.
Mine as well, in a little bag on the desk here.
At least we won't short circuit in the rain.
Exactly.
We'll melt, but we won't short circuit.
And we're not talking about the equipment anymore.
No.
After a day like today, rain
For
is
sure.
just not what the
It
doctor
is
ordered.
no. 2-0 to the number 5 hitter. And the 2-0 is upstairs 3-0. The command is not there right now for Aker. And he's in danger of walking the second and third batters of the inning and setting up 2 on and 1 out, which the Harbor Hawks have had a couple times. 3-0 is low, ball 4. And he has done just that. He's walked 2 in a row. It's first and second, 1 out here for Ford Proctor, who is 0 for 2 with a walk in this game, and we will have a visit to the mound for the Harwich Mariners. Don't confuse them with the Seattle Mariners. We're on quite opposite sides of the country.
Not really opposite weather, though. We could be in Seattle, Washington right now with this fog.
Absolutely. It's getting denser. It's still very humid. It's cold and humid, which is not something you see every day, but it's New England. So
It's what you see every day in Seattle, Washington.
Right. Or New England. But if it was New England, it could just clear up at any second. But I'll tell you what, it's not going to do that. It's essentially right now.
Yeah.
With Ford Proctor stepping up to the plate, 1 out, 2 on, both walks. Big spot here again.
Ford Proctor.
Base hit deep enough will score a run. With Donovan leading off second and Robinson leading off first, both on base via the walk. And Aker comes set. And the first pitch here is a breaking ball called strike 1 to Ford Proctor.
Chris, and again, as we've mentioned, the key right here is patience. Hyannis needs to be patient and just wait for that pitch that Proctor can really drive.
Called strike 2. Well, that was that pitch. That was
That
right
might have
down the
been it.
middle.
right as we start preaching patience. He's got to pounce there, but changeup, definitely throwing him for a loop. He came out of the batter's box shaking his head.
And it is 0-2. Aker trying to get out of a bit of a jam here. A strikeout would be huge for him. The 0-2 on the way. It's upstairs. 1-2 now to number 4, the number 6 hitter.
Proctor, big man on campus last year, Cape Cod League All-Star. Big man on campus out at Rice. 311 batting average and 238 at bats.
I wonder if maybe he's a bit tired after that long season, but the 1-2 pitch here, and it is looped towards short. It's a fair ball, and so it's a double play.
And out comes Coach Gaspin. He looks like he wanted an infield fly rule.
Now let's explain this. It was a short hop to the shortstop Burt, who stepped on second and tagged the runner Donovan, and that's a double play. And that it's 2 on and 1 out, and a double play for the past. Well, not last inning, but it happened in the 7th, and it happened in the 6th. 3 times in this ball game where that's happened, and it's not going to go the Harbor Hawks' way. And the Harbor Hawks cannot win this game. That's for certain. And the only thing left to question is, can Harwich put across 1 run here in the bottom of the 9th? We'll take a break and find out on the Harbor Hawks Broadcast Network.
Nice toss. I like that toss.
Thank you.
What a fluke-ass game.
We're back with you for the bottom of the 9th. Chris Walker and Chris Lucy on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. And once again, the Harbor Hawks cannot win this game. This is the last inning of play. So if the game will end in something other than a tie, it will be because Harwich scores a run here in the bottom of the 9th. It's the leadoff, the top of the order, Cameron Simmons will lead it off, and Kobe Vance, and then Brad Debo, and it will be against Nick Sandlin once again. Last chance for Harwich. The best Hyannis can do is tie right now, and they finish another game with no runs. No runs all day for Hyannis here in Harwich. That's very, very troubling.
It's been a long one for the Harbor Hawks, and could be a long one for Cam Simmons if he can't get himself on here. Over 3 coming into this at bat.
Pitch number 2 is outside. It's 1-1. The first pitch was a called strike. But in 16 innings of play today, the Harbor Hawks have 0 runs. And that's how it will stay. 2 on the outside corner. Simmons did not like that call. But it's 1-2. Well, it's been a pitcher's duel, obviously, with the zeros up on the board. But the Harbor Hawks pitching, especially Sandlin, has been unbelievable so far, and that's outside 2-2. And again, it just all it took was 1 run today, and it didn't come.
No, it did not. Bit of a disappointing situation for Sandlin as well, coming in, throwing all these pitches to no avail.
That one outside, and the count runs full on Simmons, who has no hits today, as Chris Lucy mentioned. Not a lot of people have any hits today for either team in this game.
No, Simmons no hits in the first half of doubleheader either.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. And the leadoff man is sent down on strikes to start the the 5th strikeout of the outing for Sandlin. He's looked great, and that brings up Kobe Vance, the number 2 hitter, who's 1 for 3.
Yep, and chalk up an 0 for 5 day for Simmons between the 2 games.
That's not a good day.
No, sir. Not when it's this cold out.
No. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it sharply out of play first base side, and the kids are on that. They're still having fun. They got a good workout at least.
Hey, running keeps you warm.
That's for sure.
Warmth is a much needed commodity out here right now as it starts to get into the high 50s.
This one upstairs, 1-1 to the 2-hitter Kobe Vance, who did have a single in the 4th inning. So it's his only hit of the game. He does have 1 of 3 hits for Harwich in the game as this one misses. 2-1. And I did say 1 of 3 hits because in the 7th inning, Sutton had a base hit and Bart had a double back in the 5th, and that's it. 1 is on the outside corner, strike 2. It's 2-2. And if you want to talk a bit of numbers, the Harbor Hawks pitching has been 1 hit better than the Harwich pitching, which that's something good. The 2-2 is low, and the count is full again to the number 2 hitter, Vance.
Problem is when you bring in the 6 runs that Harwich scored in the latter half of this doubleheader, it's just tough to really draw too many positives out of a loss and a tie.
Absolutely, and the tie is not guaranteed yet. That's the thing. They still need 2 more outs. It's 3-2 to Vance. Pitch is outside, ball 4. And a 1-out walk for Kobe Vance. It brings up Brad Debo, the designated hitter, as Proctor will go have a word with Sandlin. Sandlin has been in the game since the 5th inning. Pitched the entire, well, not the entire 5th. The double to Joey Bart took Crawford out of the game, and then it's been Sandlin's game ever since then. So he's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and a third.
Pinch running for Vance, number 15 from Oklahoma, Kyler Murray.
So Kyler Murray takes over. Missed him in game 1, but I get to see him a little bit, I guess, here in game 2. And he very may well have a big role to play in this game.
Well, they brought him into pinch run, and boy, can he run 12 stolen bases for the Sooners this year.
I don't think there's any doubt as to why he's in this game. And the first pitch is inside to Debo. I thought he would go first pitch, but he waits. And I thought at the very least they would throw over to check on the very, very speedy Murray.
Sandlin just dead set on the task at hand.
Pitch number 2 is inside as well. It's 2-0 to Debo. Debo's 0 for 3 today, at least this game. See if Harwich can get something going here. The count is 2-0. Now they'll throw over. Ooh, the throw is just a bit high.
And that's not the guy you want to overthrow because, I mean, Kyler Murray can go from first to third on the drop of a hat.
Absolutely. The 2-0 is called strike 1. There's a strike finally for Sandlin. Gets himself back into this count. With Murray still on first. Pinch running for Kobe Vance. Swing and a miss at a very low pitch there. Didn't look close, but looked good to Debo. He swung and missed, though. It's 2-2. I don't know, it helps Sandlin out. We'll take it. Now the fog really getting thick. Center field. You can't even see the center fielder, Hampton, barely. And there goes the runner. The swing and a miss, and the throw is in time. It's a double play to get Murray. A strike him out, throw him out, double play. will unfortunately end this ball game scoreless. But the good thing is that was an excellent play. And Hyannis does get a point, but no runs scored. So it was a great pitcher's duel, and everybody goes home kind of happy and kind of unhappy.
Indeed, mainly Kyler Murray, anticlimactic Cape Cod debut for him. 0 for 3 in the first part of this doubleheader, and then thrown out trying to steal to end the second part.
You know, that just give credit to Proctor to get the very, very speedy Murray. He's known for his running.
Exactly.
And you get him going to end the game. It's just a great, great way to end the game if you're Hyannis, and hopefully gives you some momentum into tomorrow's game, which was supposed to be an off day, but it'll be against Wareham. We'll be right back on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network to conclude our game. Back on the post-game show for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Walker and Chris Lucy wrapping it up for you today from White House Field. Harwich, beautiful field, but not a beautiful day. That's certainly not the case. It was a terrible, terrible day of weather, and the day started very, very badly for the Harbor Hawks as well, Chris.
Yes, it did. A 6-0 drubbing the Harwich Mariners home field start off Father's Day. Tyler Baum was absolutely lights out in the beginning of this game, I must say, Chris. 95+ mile per hour fastball, mixing in that curve as well, really was just untouchable. And he, along with the Harwich Mariners bullpen, was able to string along the shutout.
And then it continued for Harwich, at least in the second game. Both teams had a shutout in game 2. The 9-inning no-score extra inning final. But Hyannis comes in trying to find a spark offensively, and they don't even score 1 run in 16 innings today.
No, incredibly disappointing game on the offensive side of things for Hyannis. And if this is going to be the story of the season, the Harbor Hawks better hope this pitching keeps up, because the bats have just been completely cold. And you know, you have to give a minute to think about the fact that they've had 2 consecutive rainouts. They were able to scrape 3 runs across the board in the first game against Wareham. Maybe this team just needs a little bit more time in the cage, necessarily taking some hacks, seeing some pitches as well, too, just to get the offensive game flowing. So it's not completely on the back of the pitch, which has shown itself to be very capable over the last few days.
Maybe they need to play Wareham again. Well, that's what the doctor ordered. Maybe. Tomorrow we'll get to see when we go to Wareham. And that was an off day, but the rain had other ideas as New England. It's a 6:30 start in Wareham, and I'll tell you what, it is not close to here. Driving back home this weekend and back up here, it is a good 45 minutes away, so we'll have a nice drive to go there tomorrow. But, 1 run in the last 30 innings for Hyannis is definitely the one thing they have to work on. But who was your player of the game, Chris Lucy, for the Harbor Hawks in either game 1 or game 2 or both combined?
Honestly, if I could give it to Brooks Crawford, Nick Sandlin, as well as Riley Gillum,
You're allowed.
would.
Absolutely.
The 2 Clemson arms coming in, they were as advertised. Plus fastballs. The off speed worked in nicely as well. Crawford with his curveball, and slider. Gillum with the fastball curveball combination really were confusing guys all day. And then Sandlin with that strange sidewinder, almost like he's throwing a frisbee kind of delivery. Just absolutely a baffling mix on the mound. It was fun to watch today, but you know, the Harbor Hawks bats really just not putting on enough of a show to make this a happy day for Harbor Hawks fans.
Once again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And once again, tomorrow the Harbor Hawks have a chance against the team they did beat in Wareham. That's a 6:30 start tomorrow night. And that's all from the broadcast booth today. Chris Walker and Chris Lucy saying thank you so much for listening to our broadcast on the road, and we'll see you tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. in Wareham. That's all today. Have a good night, everybody.